So we've already talked about why people buy expensive brand name items, and we've talked about hiding your purchases from your husband. But today we're going to be talking about an article about why you should stop spending your hard-earned money on designer handbags. And today we're going to be going through an article I found from a site called My Small Store, and the author raises some very interesting points about why you shouldn't be spending your money on luxury designer handbags, some risky situations with owning designer handbags, and when it actually makes sense to buying designer handbags. So let's get into it. So the author says, in today's society, buying a luxury purse seems like a natural aspiration for women. However, owning these designer bags often requires someone to make hefty sacrifices. Why buying a luxury bag is not always the best option. So if you're considering spending a lot of money on luxury bags, you may want to think twice. Although luxury bags are often seen as a status symbol, there are several reasons why buying one may not be the best option for you. For starters, luxury bags can be quite expensive, and if you're not careful, you can easily end up spending more money than you can afford. And they often require a lot of care and maintenance. So if you're not willing to put in the effort to keep your bag looking at its best, then it may not be worth the investment. And luxury bags can be difficult to sell later on down the line. So if you decide you no longer want or need this bag, it might be hard to find someone who is willing to pay the price you originally paid for it. Sometimes you may even have to take a significant loss just to get rid of it. So before you embark on this thrilling journey to acquire the creme de la creme of this fashion accessory, the ultimate symbol of elegance and sophistication, a luxury bag, let your imagination run wild as to explore every tantalizing inch of this opulent world. Place yourself draped in glamorous attire, strutting confidently with that coveted piece of arm candy on your side. But stop. As you prepare to part ways with a substantial chunk of hard-earned money, pause for a moment and reflect on all the possibilities that lie ahead. Weighing each option meticulously is paramount, because while these sartorial treasures can elevate any outfit into a mesmerizing masterpiece, they also come with their own set of considerations and challenges. Delve deep into the pros, the impeccable craftsmanship, exquisite materials sourced from far-flung corners of the earth, bespoke designs created by master artisans who pour their heart and soul into these glorious creations. Revel in awe in their ability to effortlessly transform an ordinary ensemble into an extraordinary statement. And do not forget about shedding light upon these hidden cons lurking beneath the luxurious facade, a hefty price tag that could leave a noticeable dent in your bank account, or potential regret when the trend inevitably shifts like quicksand under our feet. It becomes crucial now more than ever to weigh all the facets carefully. It's an exhilarating decision where judicious contemplation shall guide us towards making that final leap into the unadulterated indulgence. Okay, so let's break this down into the main points the author talked about. Number one, hefty price tag, and you can end up spending more than you can afford. So you guys know I am a huge collector of vintage designer bags. So my main thing is vintage Louis Vuitton, but I've also collected vintage Chanel, and I've also dabbled in vintage Hermes as well. And definitely the Chanel and Hermes in my collection are the heftiest price tags so far. And I even went so far as to breaching what I could afford, because this beautiful Chanel bag you see right here, which is one of the prized handbags of my collection, I ended up spending my last $2,000 in my bank account on this bag. That is such a silly decision. If I'm spending my last $2,000 on this bag, I cannot afford this bag. What about the food I need to eat? What about the rent I need to pay? What about the utilities I need to pay? No, it just left my head, and I spent my last $2,000 I had on this handbag because I basically went broke keeping up with the luxury community. And I go into depth about that story and the lessons I learned here in this video, but clearly I could not afford this bag at the time, but I still did it anyway. So I definitely fell victim to that trap, and That was one reason why I shouldn't have bought it, because of the hefty price tag and because I couldn't have afforded it at that time. Now tell me in the comment section down below, have you ever gone down that road like I did and made such a silly financial decision because you didn't have your head screwed on straight at that time? I think a lot of us can easily get swept away with the wind when it comes to that rush of excitement, rush of dopamine, when we feel like we find the right thing. Doesn't even have to be a handbag, it can be anything that is an expensive hobby, and you just get taken away and you lose your rational thinking, and then bam, you hit the button on the computer and your money's gone. Now, upkeep and maintenance. This is the second reason the author raises a reason not to buy a luxury bag. This is something that is individual. Some people do not upkeep or take care or maintain their luxury bags at all, and that's their prerogative because it doesn't really matter to them. They're just using this as a bag, and a bag is to be used. Whereas other people cannot stand when they get stains, creases, or whatever on their bag, and it can be an extra cost to buy products to maintain and upkeep your bag. Look at my handbag care box, and this is not even all of it. I have another separate storage container with more products. This is only like half of it. And not only that, if you're sending your bag to a bag spa or sending it back to Louis Vuitton or Chanel, there could be more repair costs there as well. So yes, it's not just the cost of the bag, it's the cost of the maintenance and the upkeep as well. Now, I sent this beautiful Chanel vintage bag series 2 to the bag spa, and that cost me $600 to spa this bag and repair a tear that the bag came with. This is a vintage bag that I bought that had an undisclosed damage on it, and I decided to keep the bag and send it to the bag spa. Now, it doesn't matter if you're buying your bag vintage or pre-loved or brand new, there's going to be, if you choose to go down that route, upkeep or repair costs involved at some point. So even though I bought this bag secondhand and I got a better deal on it, I ended up paying nearly the same amount of the bag on the repair cost anyway, so it didn't even work out to be a great deal. And that is something that I didn't consider carefully enough at the time because I was a novice vintage buyer. So even us pre-loved and vintage buyers can still fall into this upkeep and maintenance cost trap. So it's definitely something you should consider when you're factoring in what is the true cost of this handbag? What is the true amount I'm going to be laying out for this handbag? And luxury bags can be quite difficult to sell later down the line if you're trying to recoup all your money or trying to make a profit on the bag. Now, this bag here is the second time I bought this vintage Louis Vuitton Monceau bag, and this one I bought because it was in better condition than the first one I bought. The first one, I was just so desperate for the bag, but I didn't want to pay too much, so I settled for a lower condition one. And then I realized I wasn't happy with the lower condition bag, and it took me like over a year to sell it, and I was still selling at a loss at that point. So you have to really take into consideration that unless you're selling a classic like a Birkin, a Kelly, a Chanel classic flap, you're most likely going to lose money, particularly if you want a quick sale. Now, some people don't really care about resale value and some people do. The people who really do care about resale value tend to go for classics anyway because they've kind of thought about it more, whereas people who genuinely just buy what they like and don't care about resale value may end up losing more money when they go to resell it because they're not selling things that are classic or trendy at the time of sale. So for example, the Celine Nano luggage tends to be a repeat offender for losing value on the resale market. So I heard about Minx for All talk about this on her channel, but she had one and she sold it, I think, to Fashion File. She ended up losing, I think, over $1,000 on that sale. But for some people, they don't mind because they just want to recoup whatever they can because they have the next bag on their mind that they want to buy. So if you're hoping to sell your bag for the same amount or for a profit, you really need to think meticulously about which styles you're buying, and you may end up buying styles but just for resale value and not really for your own taste because your real taste may not match what's classic or what's trending at the time of sale. So that is definitely something to consider. But myself, I have not had much luck reselling my items. Whenever I do, it's always at a loss. And my sales take a long time. I've never sold something like within a week or within a month. Mine take months, over a year even. So that is definitely something I've suffered with as well. So tell me in the comment section, what has been your worst resale story where you lost the most money, or it took you the most time, or it gave you the worst reselling experience? I'd love to hear your stories in the comment section down below, because mine, I never have any luck, and I don't even bother reselling anymore because I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. Luxury bag risk. Now the author here has 3 terrible stories to share with us to explain to us where having a luxury bag can be dangerous. So story number 1, theft. My lovely wife got a $4,000 Chanel bag that I offered for a special anniversary. She was very careful with it, but with a force of habit, she left it for 10 seconds on a counter while paying for gas, and that was 10 seconds too many. Oh my gosh. That pains me. That pains me. They're just putting it down for 10 seconds. Maybe you're fussing with your wallet. Maybe you're tapping your card, and then you turn back around and it's gone. Now, there's not that much detail in this story. That's all there is. But that would be such a heart-wrenching experience. You could feel your heart drop when you turn around again and the bag is not there. And who knows what was in the bag? Who knows what the value of the items in the bag were, both sentimental value and monetary value. And that bag probably had both sentimental value and monetary value because it was a special anniversary gift. So if it would have been like a Walmart bag, or in Australia a Kmart bag, whatever, probably no one would have stolen it. You could have had $10,000 in there and no one would have cared. No one would have think to steal what would be called a quote unquote cheap bag, even though it might have been stacked full of cash. But they would have seen a Chanel and they would have went yoink. That is so terrible. Tell me in the comment section if you've ever had a bag stolen from you. It hasn't happened to me yet. I hope it never happens. But I actually saw on Karis's channels, LV Lover CC, she went shopping at Chanel, put the stuff in her car, and I think they went to eat and came back and the car was broken into. The bags she bought from Chanel were stolen. She was able to do a claim with her insurance, her credit card insurance company, so she didn't lose the monetary value. But her car was broken into, her privacy was violated, and you know, that's such a traumatizing experience. Whether it was stolen from you, your car was broken into, so I hope that doesn't happen to anyone. But let me know if you actually have first-hand experience with this in the comment section. The fake scam. Story number 2. A customer bought a Panther de Cartier online for $2,000 instead of the $3,200 to realize it was an obvious fake. She returned it asking for a refund, but the seller claimed it was a real one and sent pictures at the time of packing. She tried to do a chargeback without success as the seller had pictures of what was shipped, which was not actually what was sent. The next step would have been to go to court, but the attorney's retainer cost wasn't worth it. So this poor person lost out $2,000 on a fake item they bought online. Now, this is why getting things authenticated prior to buying can help be one extra layer of protection for us, the buyers. It's not a foolproof layer. If the photos on the ad are the wrong photos anyway, like they do have photos of authentic items, but then they're going to send you a fake one, then that was not going to help in that situation. So I wanted this vintage Louis Vuitton St. Cloud in the Kenyan fawn for years before I finally came to a point where I was in the right financial position to buy one, and also I found one in the right condition at a price I was happy with. But the problem was I'd never shopped with this seller before. This seller wasn't as big as the ones that I'm used to shopping with from Japan on eBay. And the third thing was this has a special detail of Louis Vuitton actually engraved into the hardware here, which I've never seen on any other St. Cloud before. So for me, I had a couple of alarm bells ringing. It's a new seller, they're not that big. What's up with this engraving detail I've never seen before? So I opted to pay to have this authenticated before I bought it. And once it came back authentic, I then had peace of mind to buy it. Now, authentication is not 100% foolproof. Maybe the pictures are not right. Maybe the authenticator makes a mistake. Who knows? So it is another layer of protection, but it is not 100% a foolproof layer of protection. And there are some people who just don't even believe authenticators are even worth paying anyway, because they're just not into believing that the skill of the authenticator is sufficient to be able to really give them a definitive answer. So in my case, that worked out really well. But there was another case where I did buy a fake Louis Vuitton pochette accessoires, and because I got it authenticated after I had it in my hands and found it was fake, I had to go through the rigmarole of trying to get it sent back to the seller or get my refund or whatever I could do to get my money back. And I talk about that in the video of my 5 worst buying mistakes that I mentioned earlier. Now let's talk about when it actually makes sense to buy luxury handbags. So when it comes to purchasing a luxury bag, there are several key reasons why it makes sense to invest in one. Firstly, the quality of luxury bags is typically much higher than that of affordable bags, meaning they'll last longer and stand up to wear and tear. Secondly, carrying a luxurious bag is like embarking on an exhilarating journey towards unrivaled elegance and opulence. The mere presence of this coveted fashion accessory instantly transforms its owner into the epitome of class and refinement. As one gracefully swings their luxury bags, heads turn to catch a glimpse of this iconic emblem adorned on this supple leather. Confidence radiates from the holder with each deliberate step, captivating all that lays eyes upon them, seamlessly blending functionality with aesthetics. Exquisite craftsmanship, meticulous attention to detail becomes evident in every stitch, invoking an overwhelming sense of admiration to onlookers. The allure of a luxury bag lies not only in its expensive price tag, but also in the story that narrates it, a tale of aspirations fulfilled with dreams transformed into tangible reality. It symbolizes success attained through hard work, embodying an individual's unwavering determination to reach nothing but excellence. Whether gracing the bustling streets or attending exuberant soirees, carrying a luxury bag creates an aura that's impossible to ignore, redefining style standards while imbuing even the simplest ensemble with grandeur and sophistication that echoes across time itself. Finally, many luxury brands offer excellent customer service and warranty, so you're getting your money's worth. Conclusion: if you're looking to save some money, you might not want to focus on spending luxury bags. While it's fine to treat yourself every now and then, if you're spending all your money on luxury bags, it's time to reassess your priorities. Plenty of other things in life are worth investing in, so use this opportunity to reevaluate your finances and make some changes for the better. The author goes on to also comparing the cost of a luxury bag to a vacation. Is it worth spending less on a bag? So instead of spending a $3,000-$4,000 bag, maybe get a $300-$400 bag and use the rest of that money to go on a vacation instead. Let me know what you vote for, handbag or vacation. It's a tough one. Definitely if you've collected a lot of handbags, maybe it's time to go on a vacation. Or maybe if you've gone on a lot of vacations, then it's okay to treat yourself to a handbag. This is all so individual. And I love to hear your perspective and your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think it's worth it or not? Should we stop spending our money on so many luxury handbags? Maybe not entirely, but maybe we should be spending less money and buying less bags and doing more of our money on other things. Now, if you haven't already seen my latest unboxing, which is my dupe for Mel in Melbourne's rarest Hermes Kelly, and I'm really happy with this dupe, I'm going to leave that unboxing video here for you to watch next.